I get messages from people, what seems like almost every day, saying things like, I fear that a seller made a mistake and sold me what was supposed to be gold, but I fear that it isn't gold at all. And I'm gonna tell you, I get these messages all of the time, and if you suspect that that's true, it probably is. This is one of those videos where someone was sold something that was gold and it wasn't gold. So I'm gonna show you a super simple hack to always tell when something isn't gold. The biggest mistake that I see new vintage jewelry buyers make is not being able to verify their purchases as soon as they get it. You need to have it verified by either a different seller or by an independent appraiser who can tell you if it's gold or not. The other mistake that I see people make is not being able to tell if something is gold or not. And that is crucial, especially if you're buying vintage and antique jewelry. But here's the thing, if you suspect that something isn't gold, you really fear that you're overpaying for something, and no one wants to feel like they just overpaid for something. So the easiest way to stop feeling like you overpaid or to know for sure that you didn't overpay is to simply verify your pieces. And I'm going to tell you a secret before we get into this video. If you feel like you are overpaying, you are overpaying. And I know that you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. So this whole series of videos is designed so that you know what you're purchasing and you stop feeling like you're overpaying for vintage and antique jewelry. Does that sound good? Like I said, it's not your fault if you don't know how to verify gold, because I'm sure no one has ever shown you before. But here's the part where I feel like most of you go wrong, is that you're trusting sellers, and that is your only source of knowing if you made a good purchase or not. So if that's your only way that you can tell if you made a good purchase, that is a really bad strategy. And I know that you don't want to hear this either, but this is something that you need to hear. You cannot trust the sellers. And I'm going to call this out immediately. It's not that legitimate sellers are trying to scam you. They're not. It's just that everybody can make mistakes, and they do make mistakes. I make mistakes, you make mistakes. Well, what if somebody just made a mistake for what you just purchased? And let me tell you, it happens more often than you think it does. This video is one of those instances where a really good seller just happened to make a bad mistake. But I'm going to show you the bad mistake so that you don't make this mistake yourself. I get calls from collectors, and a lot of collectors just want to trade in jewelry that they bought a long time ago and buy something new. So they ask me to help them sell part of their old collection, and I'm happy to do it. So when this particular collector contacted me about these earrings, I was really excited. They're super cute. They're Victorian, they have little purple stones in them, and they're tiny little snakes that are wrapped around the stones. Now, snakes are popular right now, so I knew that I would be able to resell these pretty much immediately, and I did. But before we get into this, I'm going to tell you that these test as 14 karat gold, but they are not 14 karat gold. Here's what you need to know about testing gold. The tests are not accurate, especially with electronic gold testers. It's very easy to make mistakes with them, and they will give you false positives. I'm going to repeat that just so that you make sure that you get it, because it's really important. Gold testing will give you false positive results. That's definitely the case with this, as I just showed you. So, what do? Excellent question. Well, what you have to have is an exact process that you use every single time that you test gold, and don't deviate from it. Now, one of the best things that I ever learned, I learned in gem school, and they basically told you that you can't just do one test and think that you have the answer, because you don't, and that's definitely the case. It's also the case with testing gold. You can't just do one test and think you have an answer. So where the good seller who made a bad mistake went wrong was that they did not keep testing. Now I show you all of the tests that you need to use. I show you all of the false positives that you can get from all of the tests, and I show you the exact process that I use every single time that I test gold so that I can make sure that I get a correct answer every single time I test gold. And I show you all of that inside my course on gold testing called The Gold Standard. I'm going to leave a link in the description below this video so you can check it out and see if learning how to test gold is going to be right for you or not. But the first thing that I always tell people as soon as they get something is look it over with your loupe. And if this collector had learned how to look everything over with her loupe as soon as she got it, she would have known that these weren't gold. And I will also say that if the sellers who sold them originally had also just looked over them with their loupe, they would not have sold them as solid gold. So let's get into the meat of this video so you can see the super simple hack that I'm talking about. Now, what I tell you in every single video is make sure that you look over all of the pieces that you get with your loupe as soon as you get it. And you're going to check for things like gold marks. Marks that tell you if something is 10 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, etc. That's the easiest way to tell if something is gold or not. Now, here's another side note. If you don't know what all of the gold marks mean and you don't have them memorized, very first step before you do anything else, if you actually want to be good at this and know that you're not getting scammed when you bought something, is figure out what these gold marks mean. And I have a little cheat sheet that I've made up to make things totally simple for you. Memorize the marks, know what they mean, and go pick up that cheat sheet. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video below the video. So all you have to do is go click on the link and go grab that cheat sheet for yourself and use it as a reference. Now, if anyone had actually looked over all of these earrings upside down, front to back, side to side, and everything else, you would have seen the thing that would have made the alarm bells go off in your head. And I'm going to tell you it's the thing that made the alarm bells go off in my head. Are you ready? It's so easy. All I did was I took the back off of this earring, and you can see that the post is black. One of the things that you're going to look for is discoloration in jewelry when you get it. So this particular thing has a black post. A black post isn't supposed to be black if it's supposed to be gold earrings, right? Now, where the seller went wrong was right here. First, they didn't do any other tests to verify that this was indeed 14 karat gold and they weren't getting a false positive, as is the case, as you can see right here. And the second mistake is that they simply picked it up with the back on. They didn't look it over with their loupe, and they grabbed it with the back as a handhold to simply test it and make it easier to hold. And if you're brand new to this buying vintage jewelry game, then go grab that cheat sheet that I talked about so you can start to figure out all of the marks to look for to tell if something is gold or not gold. Now, I can show you just within the last year all of the pieces that I bought from sellers that I trusted that turned out to not be gold. It happens a lot. Now, also remember, I've been in this business for 25 years. And I'm buying from people that have been in the business longer than I have been in it. So if that can happen to me, if I can buy pieces that a seller tells me are one thing and they actually turn out to be another thing or not gold at all, do you think it happens just randomly across the internet where everybody else is buying vintage jewelry? Absolutely. Do you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you? I would if I were you, but that's just me. So if you want some help, I'm here to help you. Go grab that cheat sheet down below, and I will see you in the next real or fake video. Bye for now.